Hey humans, it's Hannah. Welcome back to my channel, or if you're new here, I do videos on creepy and disturbing things. We're going to talk about a spooky TikTok account today, and the username is HamCityNR2. So please go follow him on TikTok once you're done watching this video and go heart a bunch of his videos for me. Quick disclaimer, what we're about to talk about is an ARG, aka alternate reality game. We'll talk about how we know this a little while later in the video, but just so you know, I know this is not real. It's just a game, but for the sake of this video, we're going to discuss it as if it was real so that we can get all immersed together. So the man who created this account is from Sweden and he seems to live there. He also said in one of the comments that he's a millennial, so I would assume that he's in his late 20s or early 30s. Now, I'm so excited that I found a real ARG on TikTok. A lot of the time people say it's an ARG, but it's not interactive. And if it's not interactive, that's really a work of unfiction or just a web series, whereas an ARG actually interacts with the audience and gives us clues that we have to help the user figure out. But I'm also really excited about this one because he actually came up with a really unique storyline. I feel like a lot of the ARGs on TikTok are just turning into, most of the time, people stuck in an alternate reality or all alone somewhere or in the back rooms, like something involving being all alone in the world, and there's just so many now. It was cool back when the OGs did it, like Twitter's The Sun Vanished, or when I covered a long time ago Where Is the Sky and Alexander missing in the world like that. I thought those were really cool, but now I feel like it's been really overdone. Maybe I'm just being sensitive, and if it's not that, then there's ARGs with just like no storyline at all. Just like people posting shaky forest footage with no codes and no clues or puzzles at all and no storyline and literally just trying to be edgy. Okay, sorry, rant over. I don't know the name of this person. I'm not gonna call them by their username the whole time, so just for the sake of this video, I'm gonna call him Sam. I don't know what his real name is. Sam is probably not his real name, of course, but just so that when I don't have to refer to him as the narrator or the creator all the time. So Sam seems to have acquired a stalker, and this stalker is trying to tell him something and wants him to do something. The story starts out by Sam taking some videos of his apartment because he just moved, he got this new apartment, and he wanted to show some videos of his new apartment to his family. He notices that there's this weird note taped to the back of the street sign right outside of his window. He goes through his window, he grabs the note, and he finds that it says something really strange on it, and it also has coordinates. And the coordinates, he looks on the map and they happen to be close by. People in the comments think that the note possibly says something like "ascend the tomb, wormy," but this doesn't seem to be a sentence or anything. I think it's a code for something else, and of course we'll get to that later. So he follows the coordinates and he goes there, and it's like this weird place in the woods, kind of by this abandoned looking old building, possibly an old apartment building, but I'm not sure. He looks around the area for quite a while and he doesn't really know what he's looking for, so that makes it hard. When he's just about to give up and getting bored, he spots something propped up on the back of the building. So we find out in the next video that it's an old videotape and that it has this really old paper casing on it. When he takes off the case, he finds that there's this silver line drawn on one side of the tape. He takes the tape home and matches it up to the note that he found, which sure enough also has the same pen used to write it, proving that this was what he was supposed to find there by whoever left the note on the sign. So he updates everybody and lets everybody know that he's okay and that he's safe so far, and he also addresses the fact that he doesn't think this is geocaching. A lot of people in the comments said that it was probably something that had to do with geocaching, which, if you don't know, is kind of a treasure hunt game that people all over the world play. You can look it up if you want to know. He goes online to look for a VCR that he can buy so that he can play the tape on it. As most of you know, if you're really young and you probably don't even know what a VCR is, they're back from like the 90s, so they don't just sell them at Target anymore. You would have to find an old one on eBay. But watch this video and pay really close attention to the window behind him. Did you see it? It almost looks like somebody's behind him, outside of the window, watching him through the window. Here's a screenshot with the picture brightened up some. So he goes to meet with somebody to go buy the VCR, and then he shows us what's on the tape. It's weird footage of location with rainbowy filters on it to distort the picture. There's also a silhouette of a man that we see in the footage, and we've identified him as Alfred Nobel. And there's Morse code in the video as well. So we'll get back to the Morse code and what the Morse code said later. But another important part of this video is that several people in the comments discussed how it looks like there's some sort of picture or map drawn behind the note that he got on the sign. User Corey Wong 2 wanted to help with the investigation, and he figured out that it looks like a floor plan drawn behind the letters. So Sam cuts up the note and he arranges it into the floor plan that we thought we saw. And Sam discovers something horrifying. The floor plan, after he draws it out, is a floor plan of his apartment, including all the furniture. So at this point, we have a feeling that Sam is indeed being watched. So then he comes home after grocery shopping one day and finds a bag hanging on his door. He looks inside to find all this cardboard taped into a very messy box. Inside the box is a tape recorder with no tape in it. He turns it over to find that the battery hatch was replaced with duct tape, and the duct tape is what's holding the batteries in. He takes the duct tape off and flips it up, and we see that there's another message underneath it. The message says, "Let some air inside." So he looks outside the window to see if there's another note there, as somebody suggested in the comments. And then he responds to another comment that suggested he look in any air vents or by the door, anything that seems to let air through to his apartment. So he checks his air vent, and sure enough, there's a tape wedged into this weird hole under his window in the apartment. He had just moved there, so he never noticed this before. So he has to go outside to get the tape from the hole, which to me, I guess I saw that as a good sign, because then that means that there's hopefully nobody that's been in his apartment recently to stalk him, and they hopefully are staying outside. So he unwraps the tape, and in that same silver pen that we saw earlier is written bit.ly, which, if you don't know, that is like a condensed link. That's the start of a condensed link that you would search on the web. So he plays the tape in the tape recorder, and there's only stuff on side A. Some really weird sounds, and that's it. But people in the comments tell him that pictures can be translated into sounds. So if you have a spectrogram software, you can change the sound into an image. People in these comments are way better internet sleuths than me, because I don't think I'd ever be able to figure that out on my own. So somebody sent him what the picture shows from the sounds on the tape and figured out the final link. So Sam kind of takes a break and he goes into the city, and he just takes this video talking about how he is still doing okay. He just needed to get away, but that he definitely feels like he's being watched a lot of the time. He doesn't know if it's just paranoia from what's going on, but he definitely feels like somebody is around him or watching him. He says he's going to investigate the Nobel guy soon, and he also says that he has a feeling that this is far from over, which I feel like is a hint to the audience that there is a lot to this ARG, and it's going to go on for quite a while, and we're going to get a lot of content from him. So back to the actual visual videotape that we saw before that he put in the VCR. We finally figured out that the Morse code spelled out acetyn. Sam explains that this is also a word that was written on the original note. The other part of the Morse code spelled out Nobel, which was the last name, Alfred Nobel, of the guy, the silhouette that we saw on the videotape. Sam explains that acetyn is something often found in explosives, and Alfred Nobel famously invented dynamite. So, like, was Sam chosen by some entity to save the world or save the city from some sort of explosive. That was my first thought, is that this was some sort of weird warning about a potential bomb threat. I'm sure I'm way off, but that's just what I thought of first. Then we finally find out where that bit.ly link goes. The bit.ly link goes to another video, a tree that's kind of all scrambled up again, and then a bunch of other codes. We'll get to those codes in just a minute. Sam then says that he slept for like 14 hours straight, but he also felt like somebody was at his door that night. Then that morning, he found yet another cassette tape at his door. It still had silver pen on the front, but this time in a different kind of weird symbol. So he puts the tape in and lets us listen to it. A lot of people in the comments, from what they could gather, think that the tape says something like "soon you'll know" or "soon you'll know the story." But luckily we have other internet sleuths that are very smart and figured out the full thing. And thankfully Sam follows any account that really helps him with his investigation. So all credit goes to them for figuring this out. But what we find is that the message on this tape is a poem. The poem says, "1 down, 9 to go. Confused by now, but soon you'll know. Watching these events unfold, to a defaced crowd the story is told." Now it's anyone's guess what the hell that means, but if I had to speculate what it means, I would speculate this. The first line is probably referring to the number of puzzles that are going to be in this game. So this is some sort of symbol that he completed the first puzzle. There's 9 to go, so there's going to be 10 of these puzzles in this ARG in all. The stalker then says that he or she knows that we're all confused, that Sam's confused, that the audience is confused, but that we'll know what's going on soon. And then the stalker kind of taunts us. I'm guessing that we, the viewers, are the crowd, the ones following this ARG. And the stalker calls us defaced, which basically means ruined, spoiled, disfigured. I think that he or she is taunting us and basically calling us all fools for hungrily following along with the story. So last, let's talk about the codes that were found through the bit.ly link. I saved this for last because this is possibly evidence that Sam is telling us it's an ARG. User JS Saunts, sorry if I said that wrong, figured out that the code says he needs your help. It also says fake. It says implies the intent of fooling, and ARG. So if this particular user is correct in his decoding, I love this. I really like that Sam told us that it's an ARG without telling us that it's an ARG. As you guys know, it's kind of a pet peeve of mine when creators of these type of things just straight up tell us that it's fake. It just kind of takes us out of the immersion of the game. Other reasons that I know this is an ARG is that the only videos on this account are videos in this storyline. So he didn't have any regular videos before that. It's so clearly obvious that he made this account just to do this series. A lot of people in the comments have been saying that they know that it's fake or they know it's an ARG, but they're really enjoying it anyway. And Sam has been hearting a lot of those comments. Last, if you notice, Sam has a tattoo on his right forearm. This tattoo looks like a video camera to me. This tells me that he's definitely an aspiring filmmaker, or he's really, really into filmmaking or movies or films in general. So this would be a really great step to practice filmmaking by making an account like this and just making a game like this. Regardless, Sam is super clever. This is my favorite ARG right now and my favorite thing going on TikTok right now. I think it's really clever and very creative, and I'm definitely going to keep watching this story. So everybody tell me if you want a part 2 once he starts adding more videos, which he is doing pretty quickly. Hi. Sorry. I scared the shit out of my dog. Editing Hannah here. So as it goes with ARGs that you start to cover in the middle of the story, often the story moves fast, and of course in this case that is happening, and Sam, as we call him, is uploading very quickly, and I was going to just add on extra analysis to the end of this video, but there's way too much going on. It's like really getting more exciting, and including videos that he didn't post, and now his stalker seems to have taken over his account to post videos when they want to. It's super creepy. So anyway, I'm going to make a part 2. I'm planning on it, as long as that's something that you guys would want, and I will try to post it actually sooner rather than later, because I just got so excited looking at all the videos this morning, and there's just so much going on now. So stay tuned if you're interested in that. Don't forget to go follow Ham City and R2 on TikTok as well, since he's putting out all this awesome content for us. So, okay, next time. Bye. So that's going to do it for today. Everybody, let me know what you think in the comments down below. Like the video if you liked it. Thank you guys so much for watching, especially if you made it till the end, and I will see y'all in the next one.